Information from the past. Any use or totally worthless? Before I get into the examples, I want to first go over the comment that was thrown in my face as, I guess, a quick-witted analogy to disprove what charts are all about. But then I saw the analogy and said, hey, that's a great analogy to prove why I love charts. So that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to use that analogy, and then we're going to go through some different examples here and kind of hopefully show just why charts do make a whole lot of sense to use. First, allow me to say that posting the box score of a baseball game is not an analysis of the action, and to say that based on yesterday's box score we can deduce the likely outcome of today's game is nonsense and only possible with the use of seance, a crystal ball, and some off-putting music. So this person has a little bit of a sense of humor. I'll give them that. So the big argument here that a lot of people use and have thrown in my face and just throw against charting in general is you're using past data. It's the events have already happened. It's all in the past. Why would you think that using something in the past is any use, has any use for the future? So that's the big thing, is past, and I'm going to use the word old, and because that's what it is. And some people, why would you use old data? It's old, right? It has no use. It's old. It's in the past. So it's not useful. Take charts. Charts take what's already happened. So why would you ever use anything like that? That's the big thing that some people hold against charts. And they say charts are useless because of that. Taking crappy old data and then trying to use that for some sort of future reference. That doesn't make any sense. That's pointless. Maybe you're watching this right now thinking, hey, I agree. It's data. It's already happened. I want to know what's going to happen, not what has already happened. So that's the big argument. And that's what this person is arguing. Of course, they use the analogy of, so posting baseball statistics from yesterday, how is that going to predict the outcome of today's game? So past data, does it have any usefulness for what's going to be happening? Yeah, it does quite a bit. So I'm going to go and piggyback off of this analogy, and I'm going to give a few different scenarios. And I think I'm going to be able to convince you that past data can actually be very, very helpful. So our first scenario here, we have Team P for Team Pink versus Team B for Team Blue. And right here we have the scores of the past 3 games. Keyword being past. It's old data. It's happened in the past, so this stuff's worthless, right? Maybe you're looking and saying, wait a second, so are you telling me, Clay, that Team Pink beat Team Blue 15-1, then they beat them 18-0, and then they beat them 12-2? Well, you know what, Clay? I think a probable thing, I think what's most likely to happen in the next game based off of this old data is I think Team Blue is going to win the next game. Hope you're saying, well, wait, no, that would be a stupid conclusion to come to. Why would you think that Team Blue is going to win when they just got smoked 15-1, 18-0, and 12-2? If you were to then go and say, you know what, Team Blue is going to win the next game, people would look at you and say, that makes no sense. Why? That right now you're probably thinking, well, wait a second, because this is data in the past. It's old data. So why would this have any sort of reference for potential future results? Now the key word here, and I think what trips up a lot of people, is they like to try to use the word predict. But that's not the word we should be using. The key thing here is probable or most likely, however you both want to envision that. So the question is, well, what's most likely to happen in the next game? I would say what's most likely, what's probable to happen, is that Team Pink is going to win. Now, is that a guarantee that Team Pink's going to win? No, who knows? Team Blue might come out of nowhere, play the game of their lives, and might actually win. But what's probable, most likely? Well, Team Blue's going to win. And this is all past data. It's already happened. This is, according to that one guy, this is the box scores from the past. So I totally disagree that, past information, past box scores, past statistics, past history can't help predict what's more likely to happen. Let's look at another example. So let's continue with our example. Team Pink, Team Blue, they play another 3 games. Here are the score. Team Pink wins 11-5. Team Pink wins 10-6. Team Pink wins 6-5. So what's most likely to happen in the next game. At this point, maybe you're thinking, well, wow, this old data, this information from the past has changed a whole lot of things. What has it changed? Well, it seems as though Team Blue is either getting better or Team Pink is getting worse. Now, looking at the numbers, you're not going to know who's getting better, who's getting worse, but does that really matter? No. You just care about what's been going on. And the scores have been tightening up closer and closer and closer. So what's now probable, most likely for the next one? I don't know. Technically speaking, yeah, Team Pink has 6 wins in a row. So I could see you going with Team, Pink. But Team Blue, it keeps getting closer and closer and closer. Heck, this game they only lost by 1 run. So if you would have picked Team Blue, I don't think it's as nearly as crazy as this. Now, in the world of trading, this is kind of one of those setups where you got to take the trade every single time. You got a lot of things in your favor, so take the trade. Here, it's kind of and odds are, you can still take the trade because maybe your premise is going to be, well, Team Blue is about to kind of like break through something. So you can take that, but it's not nearly as kind of clean of a trade. There's not nearly as many things that kind of make it a no-brainer as, this one up here. Again, probable versus most likely. Just because you have a whole bunch of things in your favor doesn't mean you're guaranteed to make money. I really, really wish that there was such thing as guarantees in the market, but there just isn't. Here, though, same thing. You can go either way, but it's not quite as crystal clear. So there's no guarantee either way, but you can see that the story has changed. And keep in mind, we're not looking at any sort of details of the story. All we're looking at is past data, old data. And here it's telling us that, well, maybe Team Blue's getting better, or maybe Team Pink's getting worse. I don't know. But who really cares? That's kind of the why. As trading, wait, why is that company going up? Well, as traders, we just care that the price is going up. Who cares about why? If it's going up and it's trending up, hey, go with the trend. Same thing here. Let's look at one more example, though. So our final scenario, these teams play another 3 games. Team Blue, 8-6. Team Blue, 13-4. Team Blue, 19-2. So the next game, what are you thinking? Well, you could go with a lot of things. You're like, well, I don't know, Clay. I've noticed a pattern that Team Pink did great the first 3 games, then things tightened up here. So maybe things are going to tighten up. So you could maybe observe something like that within a pattern. Maybe you're just looking at a pattern as simple as, wow, Team Pink is either totally falling apart or Team Blue is just all of a sudden getting that much better. Because, not only did Team Blue win all of these, look at the trend of it. Somewhat close right there. Then the win got bigger. And then right here, they just absolutely crushed Team Pink. So you could be thinking, well, the next thing is it's got to be Team Blue based off this pattern and how things have unfolded here. I'd say, hey, that makes a whole lot of sense to me. That's kind of what I would notice here, is that Team Blue is only getting stronger. Or in trading terms, maybe, the trend is getting stronger. But within the grand scheme of things of what I'm trying to illustrate here is, you could picture this as a trend change. So right here, the trend, Team Pink. Maybe it's a bullish trend. It's an uptrend. Right here, the trend neutralizes. It just starts to kind of go sideways. You don't really know what's going on. Is the other side starting to tighten things up? And then here you have a full-blown trend reversal. Now it's trending in the other direction. So maybe it's gone from bullish to neutral to now bearish because Team Blue is now trending. And keep in mind, all we're doing is looking at numbers. Numbers of what? Past information, old information. So to me, this whole premise that, you can't tell anything from past, that's all charts do is take information from the past, old stuff, and then you're trying to use that. Keep in mind, not to predict the future. We're trying to do it to manage the future. Manage it in one sense. Well, in one of them, to figure out what we think is probable and most likely to happen. Not guaranteed to happen, but probable and most likely. So maybe you've struggled with that. Maybe you've thought, yeah, that person, that's true. Why are you looking at scores from the past? What does that have to do with the future? What does looking at old data have to do with, how can that be useful? Hopefully this example shows me. Like I said, I can't take any credit for coming up with this analogy, but when that person threw it in my face, I thought, oh, that's brilliant. That's a brilliant way to show in a very practical sense, especially for you sports fans out there, how looking at past information can be very useful for looking at future results. Another great example is college football. That especially the first few weeks of the season, when kind of the big powers play the small schools, and you're watching ESPN, and on the bottom you see scores like 56-0, 48-0, 70-0 in some cases. Keep in mind, that's all past data. But if those teams were to play again, who are you going to go with? You're going to go with Alabama. I'm an Ohio State grad, so you're going to go with Ohio State or, the school of the blind and, deaf. I mean, I don't know. I'm probably going to go with Ohio State if the first time they play that school, they win 70-0. Second time they play, 56-0. So this is not just a baseball thing. College football is another great example of that when you watch those scores during their first opening weeks and some of those schools get pummeled. Remember, though, according to this guy, well, that past data is worthless because it's information from the past. Well, I don't know. I think that's a very powerful piece of information. So hopefully this makes sense. Hopefully this illustrates that past data. Now, it's not the holy grail. Nothing is. That's why most likely, you're not going to see the word guarantee anywhere in any of my videos because that's just not how the market is. But it is useful. It does serve a purpose if you're using it the right way. So on that note, watch the video that's now flashing up on the screen. I did a video very recently about how to use charts the right way and how you need to apply them in the way that they're meant to be applied. But this definitely, I think, in my mind, answers the question very solidly in terms of, is past data worth it or isn't it? So if you enjoyed this video, click that like button, comments below. Maybe you have some other good analogies that you can use that show, yeah, past data is actually super good. I mean, think about it. From, again, sporting reference. How do teams base who they want to invest a bunch of money into? What do they look at? They look at, well, what's this person's batting average? For a pitcher, what's this person's ERA? Football, how many yards did this quarterback pass for? According to this person that was trying to, take a dig at past information, that person would say, well, that's worthless. You shouldn't be looking at a quarterback's past statistics. You shouldn't be looking at a soccer player's past statistics. No, it's such a failed premise to say that information from the past, old data, cannot be useful for future references. So I'm kind of beating the dead horse, but I wanted to beat it just that one more time. So thanks for watching. Let me know if you have any questions on any of this.